All right, let's get right into it. Today we are digging into a really powerful, almost paradoxical strategy for influence. It's Law 12 from the 48 Laws of Power. And trust me, this one is going to flip your whole idea of honesty right on its head.
So, the law makes a pretty bold claim. A single, seemingly sincere move can completely wipe the slate clean, covering up tons of dishonest actions. Now, this isn't about being a good person, this is about strategy. It's about using honesty as your most unexpected and effective weapon.
So, how in the world does this actually work? Well, to really get it, you have to push ethics aside for a minute and look straight at human psychology. It's all about disarming your target, making them vulnerable.
See, an unexpected act of honesty is the ultimate distraction. It just completely bypasses our rational brain, our suspicions, and it hits us right in the emotions. It can turn even the most skeptical person into a trusting, open book almost instantly.
You know, this tactic has been around forever. There's even an ancient concept for it, sometimes called giving before you take. The idea is super simple. You offer a small gift, a little favor, or a surprising moment of honesty to soften someone up, which makes them way more receptive to a much bigger move you're planning down the line.
So, the process really breaks down into 3 clear steps. First, you offer some kind of gift. It could be kindness, generosity, or in this case, a dose of honesty. This makes their defenses just melt away. And then, bam, once that hole in their armor is wide open, you make your real move.
And look, this isn't just some abstract theory. Let's look at some real-world examples of people who mastered this law and used it with absolutely stunning success.
Our main case study here is a showdown between 2 absolute legends, Count Victor Lustig, who was one of the most brilliant con artists to ever live, and Al Capone, probably the most feared gangster of his era.
So Lustig walks up to Al Capone with this incredibly bold proposal. He takes $50,000, a huge amount of money back then, and promises he can double it in just 60 days. But for the next 2 months, he does absolutely nothing. The money just sits in a box.
When the time's up, Lustig walks back into Capone's office. He looks the most dangerous man in Chicago right in the eye, admits that the plan completely failed, and he puts the original $50,000 right back on the desk.
So, just imagine you're in that room for a second. What do you possibly expect the world's most ruthless gangster to do to a guy who just wasted 2 months of his time and admitted failure?
Instead of exploding with rage, Capone is just stunned. He knew Lustig was a con man. He was expecting one of 2 things to happen. Either he'd get $100,000 or he'd get nothing at all. This admission of failure, this honesty, was so completely out of left field. It totally shattered his defenses.
And get this, Capone, so impressed by Lustig's so-called integrity, gives him $5,000 right out of his own pocket as a reward. And that right there, that was the real con. That $5,000 was Lustig's goal from the very beginning. He used a huge gesture of honesty to swindle a man nobody thought could be swindled.
And this wasn't some one-off trick. You see this pattern pop up all throughout history. You've got ancient Chinese dukes pretending to be outraged to protect an enemy they were secretly planning to invade. And of course, the most famous example of all, the Trojan Horse. It was the ultimate gift designed to hide a truly deadly purpose.
Okay, but what if you've already got a bad reputation? What if people already think you're deceitful? Well, this is where the law gets even more fascinating, and you see its true strategic genius.
Think about it. If you're known for being a rogue, a sudden act of honesty just feels wrong. It's out of character. It actually makes you more suspicious. So the really smart play is to do the exact opposite. You lean into the reputation they already have of you.
So you've got 2 different playbooks here. If your target is just a little bit wary, you use selective honesty to bring their guard down. But if your target is already deeply suspicious of you, you use selective dishonesty. You do something that confirms their bias, which, weirdly enough, makes you seem more authentic to them.
And who better to show us this reversal in action than our old friend, Count Lustig? In what was probably his most legendary con, he was trying to sell the Eiffel Tower for scrap metal. But at the very last second, he got the feeling his mark was getting cold feet.
So what did Lustig do? He didn't start swearing that he was honest. No, he pivoted. He started complaining about his low government salary, basically asking for a bribe. And instantly, the target's suspicion just evaporated. Why? Because a corrupt official asking for a kickback fit his cynical worldview perfectly.
That dishonest act made Lustig seem real, and the deal was done.
So, after all that, what is the ultimate lesson here? Well, Law 12 is an unbelievably powerful tool for influence, but it also comes with a very, very serious warning.
The absolute key to this whole thing is that your gesture has to feel sincere. It has to be believable. Because if your target sees through the act, if they realize it's all a performance, that initial trust and gratitude will instantly flip into a violent, lasting hatred, and there is no coming back from that.
And that really leaves us with a final question to think about in our own lives, doesn't it? It gets right to the heart of trust and deception, and it's something worth remembering the next time someone offers you an unexpected gift or an act of generosity.